Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay and this is Be Healing. Today I'm vulnerably opening up to you with my personal story of healing. They say that as healers we're most drawn to the modalities we most need for ourselves. And after 25 years of helping thousands of people through my business Be Healing, I can say that's absolutely been true for me. Looking back, my heart goes out to the girl and young woman I once was. I was a shell of my true self, a watered down version of the real me, so deeply insecure and unsure of my place in the world. You see, I grew up with every kind of abuse. And like so many people with empathy who are brought down by those who were supposed to lift them up, I turned it all on myself. I believed what the abusers told me, that I was the problem. I hadn't been born knowing everything, and like any child, I had to learn. But in my home, learning through mistakes, it wasn't okay. It got me beaten. As the youngest child, I had no one around me to see growing and learning alongside me. Everyone else seemed to know more than me, and so I believed them. I must be the problem. That abuse sent me inward. I spent so much time disassociating, praying for mercy. And in that internal world, I made deep connections with what I called angels at the time, my guides who were always there for me. I didn't know then that this kind of connection was rare. I thought everyone had that. And my heart said, I never want anyone else to go through this. And so I made it my mission to become the best person I could possibly be. But not just that, to help everyone else too. What I didn't realize was that this was a trauma response, a desperate attempt to earn love and prove I was good enough to be loved. I believed I'd done something wrong, that I hadn't been loved. As so many children do, I turned it on myself. When I ventured out into the world as a young adult, I started meeting people who were different, kind, supportive, and I didn't know how to handle it. I'd get overwhelmed with positive emotions, but it felt so uncomfortable. I had no experience of being safe to express these powerful emotions. And I wasn't seeing anyone else around me breaking down because someone did something nice for them. And so I'd stuff those feelings down, and then I'd ask myself, what's wrong with me? I'm behaving so differently than everyone else. I didn't trust my own choices. I was a follower, always watching others, copying their decisions, the people they decided to befriend, the guys they wanted to date, every single choice they made. I was trying to find safety through their choices. It didn't work out very well for me. I was disconnected from my own power, the power of choice, the power of knowing what was right for me or what was wrong for me. You see, I'd been groomed to believe my perspective was invalid. The question that haunted me was always, what is wrong with me that, and fill in the blanks. I took responsibility for everything, even things that weren't mine to carry, because I'd been told my whole life that it was me that was the problem. I was a mess, broken shadow version of myself. And it took years to realize that that very foundation I'd been operating from was wrong. I didn't need to fix myself. I needed to trust myself. My intuition, my feelings, my gut. I needed to reclaim those parts of me and believe in them again. Piece by piece, I did. I unlearned the lies and I came home to my true self. I began to believe I was good, that I hadn't caused the things that had happened to me. And I helped others do the same, using the exact steps that were helping me. My work was never separate from my own healing, and that's why I called it Be Healing. The act of being in the process of healing ourselves, which I believe is and always will be an ongoing process for us all. So I started my business 25 years ago, Byron Bay Neurotherapy. I was drawn to neurotherapy because I had undiagnosed PTSD and constant anxiety. Anxiety that felt so normal to me that I didn't even know I had it. And then I added massage. Even though I was terrified of being touched, I'd been physically and sexually abused and needed to overcome that fear. And as my business grew and it became more, I changed the name to Be Healing. I added energy healing because my nervous system was wrecked. And offering sessions gave me an excuse to spend an hour in meditation in this beautiful healing flow state. I added tarot because I was searching for answers too. But I felt it was my duty to help others with my gift. Surely it wasn't just for me. And then I taught meditation because I felt more comfortable allowing myself to do it if it was to help others. Every healing tool I offered was something I desperately needed myself. But here's the thing, I didn't feel worthy of receiving it just for me. And so I gave it to others and hoped I'd absorb some of it by proxy. And I did. Still, I kept wondering, why can't I just receive? What's wrong with me? I used to think it was because people just didn't want to give to me, that I only attracted takers. But looking back, I can see that sometimes I did have good people around me. It just felt alien, even unsafe to receive from them. I'd turn away from them and then go connect with the alcoholics and the abusers because they felt like home. Being around takers felt more comfortable. I knew that dynamic. It was my uncomfortable comfort zone. And then 7 years ago, something shifted. I was trying to help a friend who was constantly self-sabotaging and making bad choices in her life. And suddenly I realized she was my mirror. I was doing the exact same things, just to a lesser degree. That I wasn't here to help her. She hadn't even asked me to. I needed to help the one person I could help, myself. It hit me really hard. I can't trust myself and the decisions I make right now. I need to take a step back. I need to learn how to take better care of myself. Life needs to be about me now, not everyone else. So I stopped. I stopped everything. I stopped working. I stopped socializing. I stopped drinking. I hermited. And for the first time in my life, I took care of myself. Deeply, consistently. I slept. I read. I meditated for me this time. And I began to feel better. Eventually, I went back to the gym. Same gym I'd been attending for a year, but this time I noticed different people there. Not because they were new, but because I had changed. With a calmer nervous system, I made better choices, attracted better connections. But re-entering the world came with temptations. I could feel that old pull toward anxiety, chaos, self-destruction, those familiar coping patterns that I'd had. And that's when I realized I'd been numbing my whole life. And my body, my soul had been screaming no to so many things, but I didn't know how to listen. Anxiety was a constant, and so I didn't recognize it was even there. I was always silencing it, usually with a drink or 5. But now I'd given my nervous system a break, and I felt peace, hiding away by myself. So when I went back out in the world, I felt the anxiety when it tried to make a comeback. And there was no way I wanted to undo the work I'd put into myself. I realized I had drunk so much because the people I was drinking around were causing me anxiety. And rather than to listen to that and remove myself from the situation, I would drink to be able to numb the anxieties, to stay around those people and in those situations. I had been shutting down my guidance system that was trying to keep me safe. And so it's time to trust myself. Time to stop abandoning myself like that. Time to start listening to my emotions, asking what were they trying to say, and actually honoring them, taking action on them. I took up Muay Thai, and it changed everything. Kickboxing taught me that I can defend myself, that even if people react violently to my boundaries, I can handle it. It rewired my nervous system from freeze to fight when I felt fear, from helpless to powerful. I no longer shy away from conflict, and now I stand up for myself, even if it means instigating conflict. I stopped trying to affirm I am safe in a world that didn't feel safe and isn't safe. And I learned how to make myself safe. I became a warrior. I became the loving, protective parent to myself that I'd always needed. I came first. And now this podcast, Be Healing with Claire Louise Hay, is me sharing all of it with you. I'm not here to teach from a pedestal. I'm here to walk beside you. Because if there's one thing I know about you, it's this. You are not the problem. Never forget that. So thanks for joining me today. Next week we'll go even deeper into the power of choice. My life, my choice. My body, my choice. What that really means and how reclaiming it has changed everything. I'll see you then.